I remember like not having like money for food or anything like that, and I think it was like 3 days without eating, making my way back to Victoria because I didn't have anything. So I think and being at Box Hill Anglicare, the first thing was that they gave me food and water, which was really nice.
Are you able to tell us a little bit about your backstory into why and how you entered care?
Yeah, of course. So I was 14 years of age when I went to care. So I guess that would be classed as an adolescent then. So I was older than quite a lot of kids who do go into care and things like that. I was from Victoria. I was in Queensland at the time, and my mother wasn't, I guess, too well at the time, and my mum left me in Queensland when I was 14. I guess no one really, taught her how to be a mum and things like that, and it was, tough having to look after her kids and stuff. So it was quite hard, and I totally understand. So anyway, at the age of 14, I was on my own. I had the bag on my back. That's all I had. And I wasn't sure what to do at that time. I didn't really know what to do, but I just went to the police station in Queensland, and I told them what had happened. I said, my mum left me here. I'm from Victoria. I'm not really sure what to do. I didn't have any money. I had clothes. I didn't have any money. And I spent some nights, the police officers took me to a hospital, and I slept some nights in the hospital because it was the safest place they thought for me. The hospital and the police had paid for my bus tickets from bus to train to get back home to Victoria.
Wow.
And all while being 14, and that I it's very, very young to do that on your own. So I made my way. I think it took really quite a long time to get back because it just happened to be like New Year's, I think. So trains had stopped and all of this stuff. So here I was, 14 years old, sitting Sydney train station. I remember just sitting there for 12 hours outside waiting to get back to Melbourne. And anyway, eventually I made my way back to Melbourne. And my first stop that the police had kind of set up for me was to go to Anglicare in Box Hill. So then I caught a train to Box Hill, and I'd showed up and I'd said, "Hi, I'm Frazer, and my mum left me in Queensland. I've just gotten back here, and I don't know what to do next." Do you know what I mean? So then I guess I went straight into care from there, really.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Gee, 14 years old. It's so scary.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
a pretty scary time, I think. I remember like not having like money for food or anything like that, and I think it was like 3 days without eating, making my way back to Victoria because I didn't have anything. So I think and being at Box Hill Anglicare, the first thing was that they gave me food and water, which was really nice.
Oh, geez. Wow.
Gosh.
Frazer, thank you so much for sharing your journey into care. Like, for me, that's really hard to hear, but yet it's part of your story. It's part of why you are who you are. And I've seen different things where you explain that part of your hardship has actually made you into the person that you are now. That compassionate person that I hear about, just, caring and seeing how others are,
Yeah, 100. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know feels like that. Do you know what I mean?
Say that again, Fraser.
I just want to make sure no one ever feels like that and that everyone feels at home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And in fact, I think the water, the safe place, food, that was the thing that you mentioned. Like, if anyone like out there that is considering foster caring and wants to know what it does, the fact that you offer a safe place, that person, that young person can get food and water, like you've made that very real. So
yeah,
thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. And yeah, that's really hard to hear. So I suppose there's a lot, to sort of unpack with that. But in terms of like the hardest thing that you faced in being in care and how that experience shaped you into the person, that you are today.
Yeah.
You can share maybe a little bit about that.
Yeah, of course. I think when I was in care, I met a lot of other kids in care. And sometimes I didn't want to be in care. Sometimes I was like, oh, I don't want to do this. And so that led to, sometimes being on the streets, or sometimes, I guess, hanging out with some people who weren't that positive, or that weren't that great to be hanging out with.
Yeah.
The hardest thing for me was definitely coming to terms with the fact that I didn't have my family with me, and that I was alone in that sense, and I had to be open and willing to make a new family. And that was one of the hardest things for me to realise that it doesn't matter if it's blood, you can have family everywhere. Yeah. And I had to open myself up to that, and to open myself up to all of the tools everyone was giving me in order to use them to be successful. And that was the hardest thing, because it was like, I guess it was like pulling teeth, trying to get me away from trying to trust people again, or trying to believe what they were saying, because I did feel abandoned. I felt let down. I felt like I didn't have anyone. But as soon as I unlocked that door and realised, hey, everyone's trying to help me, and I've all of these resources at my hands, the world is mine.